Greetings, Andy here again, and it's a thread that I'm jumping onto because it's quite a timely one, this, and I'll come to why. So this is 20 greatest hits compilations. It was kicked off by Darryl at Northern Vinyl Guy, and with Chris at the Vinyl Man, 2 N's exclamation mark. I'll put links in the description, and I picked up on it actually watching Rob Walker do one. And the reason it's timely is because I've just literally been through in the last couple of weeks all of my collection, trying to create some space because I basically run out, and in doing that I pulled out all of the compilations and also live albums, and I've sort of put those separate from the studio albums. So I've literally been looking at my compilations, and also they're all in one place now, so it's relatively easy. Now, greatest hits, I'm taking that sort of loosely, also best ofs, because you know a lot of the bands I do I like don't do hits basically, but I've got best ofs, and also there's a few singles compilations, which I think is the same thing really, isn't it? Some of these were records which my wife Marion brought to us. She liked a compilation, you know, and I've grown to like some of those, and I'm going to start with one, and it's The Cure, and Standing on a Beach. And so this is a singles compilation of The Cure, and it's got you know, things like Boys Don't Cry, The Walk, The Love Cats, In Between Days, Close to Me, and all of those. There you go, and I really like it. I mean, I didn't dislike The Cure, but neither was I buying any of their records. But Marion was a bit of a goth and absolutely loved them, and I really like them now as well. So that's that one. This is one I picked up relatively in the last couple of years at a record fair, and it's Mott the Hoople Greatest Hits. Yeah, this one is a greatest hits because it's got, you know, Roll Away the Stones, All the Young Dudes, and the Honolulu Boogie, you know, all the usual ones, and it's Mott the Hoople, and everyone knows them, and it's brilliant. Now to one of my big ones. So this is a triple, and it is Elbow, the best of deluxe edition. So I've often said that, you know, it's the recent releases, the last 2 or 3 releases that Elbow have had, been okay, but you know, fairly average compared to the early stuff. And this basically has got not all of, but you know, all the early stuff going right back to Asleep in the Back. Sadly, it doesn't have my favourite Elbow ever song on, which is Powder Blue from that first album, but that's not on there. But it's got, you know, loads and loads of other ones. As I say, it's a triple album, and it's you can see all the albums if you know Elbow, which this was put together for. So it's basically got, you know, all the good ones up until Little Fictions, which is probably the first one which was going onto the average side. So that's Elbow, a current band. Well, The Cure is a current band, isn't it? They had a great album last year. Leonard Cohen, single LP, greatest hits, you know, Suzanne, Sisters of Mercy, So Long Marianne, Bird on Wire. Just got all of those lovely records on there. I like Leonard. He's another one which I got to like through Marion. She loved him. We went to see him on his last tour, I think, and it was absolutely fabulous. And now going back a bit, this is actually quite a recent reissue, but it's another great record from The Damned, the best of. So there you are. It's goes through all the various lineups, but of course, which you think Rat Scabies, Captain Sensible, Dave Vanian, Paul Gray, and Brian James was in there, and it's got, you know, it's got New Rose on there, which is a neat, and all of those famous punk songs. And New Rose is possibly remains my favourite punk song, the very first English punk single, anyway. And a whopper. So now we're going to a 4 LP one, and that is Black Sabbath, the Ultimate Collection. So this is a proper best of, and you know, it's just there you go. I won't go through all of them because there are 4 LPs, 8 sides of you know, great, well, Paranoid, Iron Man, Black Sabbath, Fairies Wear Boots, War Pit. It's got them all on there, so it's a cracker. And this is because this is one I picked up in one of those sort of like 3 for £55 HMV things last year or the year before, I can't remember. And it was just sort of serendipitous. I thought, oh, I'll try that. And it's sort of one of those bands which, you know, I don't have any albums. I'm never going to buy any. So a best of is quite good. And it's another triple, and it's Sparks, past tense, the best of Sparks. And, you know, this has got loads of stuff I don't know because I've never, you know, I like their singles, but I've never gone hunting for their stuff. It's really good. You know, if you like Sparks, it's really good. It's all I need of Sparks stuff. One of my favourite ever bands, and a guy who sadly died too young. It's a double, and it's the best of the sensational Alex Harvey band. And it's, you know, it's Delilah, Boston Tea Party. It's got all the stuff for, you know, obviously on two LPs. Great compilation, and you know, let's face it, does anyone not like the sensational Alex Harvey band? I've never come across anyone, so this is a cracker. And moving on, another early one. And that's Cat Stevens. I think this might be one which Marion brought along. And Cat Stevens' greatest hits. You know, so it's a single LP. It's got 12 tracks, 6 on each side. It's got them all: Moon Shadow, Wild World, Oh Very Young, Father and Son, Morning Is Broken, and etc. etc. I love Cat Stevens as a sort of singer-songwriter of that period, of the early 70s, essentially. He was brilliant. And another singles compilation now, and that's this was one of Marion's, and that's the Pretenders single LP, 16 tracks, 8 on each side, so they were presumably 3-minute singles, so you can get a lot on a side. Well, 8 tracks, 20 minutes. So actually, most of these are 2-point-something minutes, I guess. You know, and it's got them all on there from 79 through to with Stop Your Sobbing, in chronological order, going right through Brass in Pocket, Back on the Chain Gang, right through, and finishes with I Got You Babe. That's 85, isn't it? Well, that's out of sync because it goes 84, Thin Line Between Love and Hate, to and then the 1986 ones, and finishes with I Got You Babe, which was actually by UB40, wasn't it? But with Chrissie Hynde on vocals. So there you go, the Pretenders. Now, what one sort of prog. It's not really prog. This is definitely one of Marion's, and the band I sort of knew a little bit of, and that's Barclay James Harvest, and this is a best of. And Barclay James Harvest have got that very sort of pastoral English aesthetic, very sort of soft prog, not remotely heavy. Just looking at track 2 on side 2, it's a single LP. Is called Galadriel. Wasn't Galadriel in an elf in Lord of the Rings? So that probably sort of sums it up. And I think they come from Yorkshire originally, and it's got 7 tracks on side 1 and 5 on side 2, and it's a lovely sort of one if you like Barclay James Harvest. And appropriately, it's actually issued on the Harvest label, which I think is sort of quite ironic. But there you go, it's Barclay James Harvest. Now to the most recent compilation I bought. It's another singles compilation, and this was released for Record Store Day. Was it this year? Pretty sure it was this year. And that's Wire. and a 9/7. So it's got basically eight 45s and one EP, and it's got the sort of in order, chronological order. And it's got, each one is the A side and the B side. So I never had, why one of those sort of bands that I sort of like, bits I've heard of, fairly rarely on the radio. I never bought any of their stuff, so I thought I'd give this a go as a decent compilation. Now, one of my favourite bands from when I was a kid, Slade and Sladeist. This is a single LP. It's got a nice little booklet in there telling you about Slade. Obviously I do know about them. There they are in all their glory live. I would love to have seen them live. At the time I didn't. I saw T-Rex at the time, and I saw Mud and a lot of these, but I never saw Slade, despite them being relatively local to me at the time. And they were fabulous. Noddy Holder, I lived in Macclesfield for quite a while, and Noddy Holder sort of moved to the northwest and lived in a posh village just outside Macclesfield. I used to see him on the train sometimes going back and forth to London. So when I say on the train, getting off, he was getting off first class, and I was getting off with the plebs like the rest of us. So anyway, there we go. That's Slade. Once upon a time, Rod was a god, and I loved his stuff. I mean, he started crooning obviously a bit, but this does go through to the crooning period. It sort of ends in Sailor and Angel, but kicks off with Maggie May. So it's got some faces on here, as well as things like Every Picture Tells a Story, Handbags and Glad Rags, and so on. It doesn't have his what was it, the Python Lee Jackson in A Broken Dream, which I think his finest vocal performance, but it's not his song, so he was just a guest vocalist on that. It's a double LP, and there you go. Another band I really liked back in the day. I actually saw them, and I saw them. They were supporting somebody. I think it might have been Genesis in '73 when I saw them, but I can't really remember. And that's Curved Air. And Sonia Christina, I used to have the hots for her. So she was I was 15 or something then, 15, 16. So an older woman fantasy. So there you go. And they're brilliant. And it's Vivaldi, who was the... Francis Monkman was the guitarist, wasn't it? Who was the violinist? I've forgotten. But it was fabulous violin on there, and Backstreet Love, and it's just great. It's only got four tracks on each side, but they're reasonable length. So Curved Air, for those who like them. And now relatively recent issue, and that is the White Stripes' greatest hits. So this was shown, I think Chris had this one, but I really like it, and it's one of my more recent ones, so I'm showing it as well. And it's called My Sister Thanks You and I Thank You, and White Stripes' greatest hits. So it's a good sort of like looking back. I mean, I've got most of their, well, probably all of their albums separately, but this is a nice one to pull out just to go through. And it's got all of the ones on there, and it typically ends in Seven Nations Army. It's got Hotel Yorba. It's got their brilliant cover of Jolene and Ball and Biscuit, all the standard ones. So it's a double album, and it was issued fairly recently, 2020. So there you go. And another one, I don't have any studio records, just this compilation, and it is one of the more famous best of compilations, and that's Legend, the best of Bob Marley and the Wailers, and a single LP, 7 tracks on each side, but it's brilliant, from Buffalo. It's got all of them. I mean, this is a perfect compilation, I think. It really is all killer. There's no filler at all on this. Right in the middle, Redemption Song, which is a folk song, not a reggae song, and it is absolutely brilliant. So there you are. Legend. And this is a fairly recent one I got. So this goes back the oldest, and it's Johnny Cash and Greatest Hits from the Sun Records era. And I'd left it in the thing in the plastic, because I've got the little hype sticker there which says official album, because there are loads and loads of bootlegs, half speed mastered limited edition. And it's got the original Sun recordings on there. It's a single LP. They're all really short ones, because there's about, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 on each side. Cry, 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 Folsom Prison Blues. It's just sort of one of those. Occasionally I get an itch for some old Johnny Cash sort of style country. So there you are, and on the venerable Sun Records label. And we're coming to the penultimate one now. So this is number 19. And this was another one which Marion brought in, and it's Kate Bush, who is, what I think, one of the most attractive women ever. So I still fancy her to this day. She still looks good, and she's about, I think she's a year younger than me, but she has a magnificent voice, and of course it's not for everyone. But this is a great compilation. It's in dreadful condition. I think it's obviously got something spilt on it back in the day. A single LP, and it's got everything from Wuthering Heights, Cloud Busting, The Man with Child in His Eyes Breathing, Wow, Hounds of Love, Running Up That Hill, Army Dreamers, Sat in Your Lap. No, I'm not saying anything there. Experiment for the Dreaming, and finishes on Babushka. So magnificent compilation. And last but not least, I thought I'd show, everyone will probably be showing this, but this is a sort of box set. And I you know, this is everything I need from the Beatles, basically. And I have heard people say that. And it is basically the red and blue compilations in a box set, which was redone a couple of years ago, or last year, was it 2023? And I decided to splash out and got it. I did have, or again, Marion had a really old copy of the blue one, the 67 to 70, but it was in dreadful condition, you know, really badly scratched, so unplayable. I'd had them on CD as well, but I decided to splash out on the box set when this came out, and well, everyone knows it. Most people have got them in one form or another. So there you go. That's 20. Not necessarily, but there were some others in there which I thought, you know, are favourites of mine. I very nearly showed my best of box set of Mogwai, but that's like it was their 20-year anniversary in 2016, I think, and they issued that with about 7 LPs in there, and I thought, no, that's not for everyone, is it? It's not really a best of, it's just a sort of, it's almost an everything. So there you go. I enjoyed doing that, running through, and you know, I could come up with another set. I was tempted to do it, but no, I'm not going to do that. This is probably about, I think I probably got 50 or 60 in total. So this is about sort of half to a third of the ones I've got in total, and there's a couple of duplications in there, but I'm rabbiting again. So thanks for watching. Cheers.